legend in hip hop, so like this is really a big deal for me. So I might be a little nervous. Don't I don't know. I might be a little nervous. So just tell us how life has really been treating you.
Well, now, I mean, everything is going great. I mean, classic hip hop is on the rise. You know, we've been, getting a lot more work, and everything is real good. We're about to go overseas Thursday to do a UK tour, UK and parts of Europe. So everything is going real well. Yeah.
Awesome. So how exciting is it to be included in a 30th anniversary experience with Yo MTV Raps? Was that something that you expected, or was it like unexpected? Did you expect them to include you in the experience, or was it like you knew that it was done?
Well, I knew I worked and I'm good friends with the guy Charles Stetler, who actually came up with the idea for MTV Rap. So, through that relationship, it was, we basically, that's how we got it. I mean, we did do a performance on Yo MTV Rap, but, we was a little bit before the whole Yo MTV Rap experience. But, we were supposed to be on there because we're hip-hop icons. I mean,
right.
It's only right, that we be a part of, the whole 30th anniversary and just be, just to, give people, the experience of classic hip-hop, because that's what it basically is. It's just the whole classic hip-hop experience from, the TV angle to the recording angle, so we're part of all that. We're part of, classic hip-hop.
Yep. Who are you most excited to perform alongside that that's performing at the event?
I just basically like performing. And me, I never personalized hip-hop like when we was doing it, and then even all the guys that was doing it when we was doing it, and then all the guys that came after us, I never personalized it because I'm a professional. So I always looked at it like it's more of a challenge. And that's with anybody, and that's any time I get on stage with whoever, we just did a couple of shows with Boy George and the Bangles, and it was like an 80s like pop group, so they had all the hits of the 80s, and it's just a challenge. It's not me liking or disliking because it's a job, and I'm I'm a professional. I like to go out, I like to do my job, and I like to do it on a high level. So that's what it's all about. It's just, me, coming into the Barclays Center, and it's just another challenge, just getting up there and showing everybody, the difference between what they do and what I do, or what they could do and what I could do. And that's my whole thing with performing.
Gotcha. So I just want to ask you this. It's a question I personally wanted to touch on. So the same issues that you expressed on the message, that was like years. When did that record come out? I don't remember. Was it like the 70s?
82.
82. So the same issues that you talked about in the song are occurring today still. What are your thoughts on that? Like how far we've come as 2018 and 1982, the same things were going on. What are your thoughts on that?
Well, I think one of the things that made the message the classic record that it is that it just encapsulated the human experience. Don't push me till I'm close to the edge. I'm trying not to lose my head. That's timeless. That could be anybody. That could be anybody anywhere. You know what I mean? So and that's the main reason why it's relevant, because in the human experience there's going to always be diversities, and you have to deal with. So that's life, and that was that's society. So that was one of the records that was it began like the social relevance of hip hop. It brought in that era of hip hop, and that's why a lot that goes on in the record is relevant today, because basically life doesn't really change. Like I said, it's going to always be diversity that you're going to have to deal with, and sometimes it could get overwhelming. And then that's where that song, "Cause Don't Push Me Because I'm Close to the Edge, I'm Trying Not to Lose My Head," it's a timeless experience in the experience of life as we know it. So that's why it'll always be relevant. Like out of all the hip hop records, that is one of the most important records, and
It's
the most popular record. It's one of the most important ones. Kids know it. Everybody know it. It's been done by other artists. It's been in countless movies, and we've done commercials with it. So it's always going to be that. So like I said, it's all a part of the human experience. So that's why it's relevant today. It's going to be relevant 30 years from now. Same thing.
Yep. So police brutality has been like at an all-time high for a while now, and maybe the worst in the past 3 years. What are your thoughts on that? And what do you think we should do as African Americans to try to get past that, or to help things get better?
Say, I didn't hear the first part of that question. Say that again.
I said, well, police brutality has been at an all-time high. What is your advice on how our community as Black African Americans, how can we get past this, starting with our own community first, and then with police brutality, with police and how things have been handled recently, past 3 years?
Well, my thoughts on police brutality is I'm almost to the point where I can believe that nobody, the police or African Americans, really want to do anything about police brutality. The police don't want to do nothing about it, basically because, that's their whole, the police have become more policing. They've become more police than public servants. So now they over police. And then with the African American community, it's almost like they don't want to do nothing about it because they can always point to police brutality and they'll be right every time. It's like the police brutality is the new racism. When we've almost desocialized ourselves, like as far as with all that hood lifestyle and the hood mentality, we desocialized ourselves. So the average Black person, they don't see racism like how I see racism. I travel all over the world. I'm in, at airports, getting in the cabs, checking in the hotels, going into all different type of buildings. So I see racism for what it actually is. The average Black person, the average Black guy in school, he don't see racism in school. They bend over backwards to try to placate them. And even in jails, they made jails more like home for people that do crime than actually places where you can get rehabilitated or at least learn not to go back to jail. So they don't see racism the way racism really is. So the police brutality is the closest thing that they can come to racism, and it's like people just more want to just point at it and keep going over the problem instead of getting to the solution, because the solution is basically simple. You have to change the way the police people. Like the average person, like when you get pulled over in a car, the average person don't know, and I don't even know whether they should tell you why they pull you over before anything else. Because when police approach people, they go into a escalation thing of what you can do and what you can't do once they approach you. And that's always the problem. That's always the beginning of the problem. You just don't see the part that we see is when somebody comes with the camera, when the police is heavy-handed by that. You don't know who's right or wrong, but it's just that you could see that they're policing people wrong. But the part that we have to do to change it is you have to go to Washington and change the law, like Megan's Law, Amber Alert. These wasn't law professors or professional people. This was just somebody who lost their daughter, and they wanted to change the way the police procedurally go about finding their people. So it would be the Fair Policing Act, whereas the police would have to police, me, just like how they police Dylan Roof. Like I've been stopped way more times than anybody driving in cars, because I was one of the younger guys that always had a good car, and I came from a bad neighborhood. And they run up on me, guns drawn, and the only thing I was doing was just driving in the neighborhood. Or you get pulled over for, you made a left turn without turning on your signal, and they running all up in the car and got flashlights in the car, flashlights in your face, guns out. But as you can see, somebody could shoot up a school or shoot up a church, and they'll run up on them like, guns half drawn. This is the person that they know the person is armed. So obviously they police black and white people two different ways. But
Right.
you have to go to Washington and make that case and then change the law of the police procedure so that is lessened. So and so that it could be a repercussion when cops police you the wrong way, because they obviously they police black people and white people two different ways. But it's not a situation where where you can keep complaining about the problem and get a solution. You have to be the solution. You see what I'm saying?
Right.
And that part is still only part of the problem.
Yeah.
Because the other side of that problem is that a black neighborhood will complain about police brutality, but you won't complain about gangbanging. That makes no sense.
Right.
Because
Absolutely.
gangbangers kill way more people than cops. So you can't complain about that. Then and then when you say that to black people, and I'm educated black people, if you're like, yeah, well, gangbangers kill people all the time. I say that's not the point.
Yeah.
Well, what is the point? I mean, if you're trying to get to the point, what is the point? If you want to help your people. So that's why I've come to the conclusion nobody really, they just want to go over the problem. It's just like, white people, race relations, and they always say we have a problem. We don't have a problem. I woke up one day, I realized I was black. What did that have to do with me? You see what I'm saying? But that's how people are. They good at reliving the problem or calculating the problem and just getting to the solution. And that's the main problem with police brutality, is that nobody wants the solution, because everybody would have to change actions that they don't want to change to get to the part where the problem could be solved.
Right. So, with the new school rap scene, I don't know if you're a big fan of the new school of rap and the mumble rap, and some of the rappers that are in NY, like some of them are Davies. We have Tekashi 6ix9ine, Cardi B. Who else? We have A Boogie with the hoodie. What are your thoughts on the new school rap scene right now? Are you big fans of any of the emerging artists, or have you not heard of any of them?
Yeah, I hear what I hear, but I've never been a fan of other rappers. Like I said, I'm a professional, so I look at it like, I've only in my whole career I've only listened to one rap album, and it was a Fuji rap album, and it was called Games of Death. So we pioneered rap. We innovated the whole thing. So for me to sit down and allow myself to listen to somebody is not a whole lot I could get from it. What I get from hip hop is, if you listen to music and then what music lasts the test of time, then I'll respect it. Like I have no thoughts of half of what's going on in hip hop right now, because it's just right now. For right now, anybody could like anything right now. I mean, they sold pet rocks at one time. That was a big thing.
Yeah.
Years later, was that a good idea? That was kind of dumb. I mean, somebody made money, but you see what I'm saying? So with hip hop now, for me, it's just way too hood. Like it's all it's past hood. It's more weird. So now on a social level, if you have kids that listen to today's hip hop and nothing else, I don't know where those kids are going to be 15, 20 years from now. You see what I'm saying? If 40 is the new 30, then 30 is the new 20, and now 20 is the new 10. So now when are you going to get a job? When is it going to happen?
Right.
When you're 20, you're 30, because 30 is the new 20. You see what I'm saying? The mentality of it. You see what I'm saying? It takes the average person out of being a part of society, which is what life is all about. It embraces, and there's nothing wrong with having a good time or spending money or making money or being famous. There's nothing wrong with none of those things. But what about the responsible person? What about the record about the woman that's trying to best to raise her kid? That's what you never heard. You never heard that. You see what I'm saying? What about a man who wrote a record about how proud he was that his son had a son and named that son after him? You never heard that record. Why is that? You see what I'm saying? But you heard everything else, everything weird that anybody had to say. You heard that. The whole game embraced, and this is I'm talking about going back 20, 25 years. The whole game embraced every pimp, every thug, every so-called gangster, every killer, every whore. Never embraced the common man. Never embraced the person that actually wants to rap. When the origins of hip hop was like country music, it was the people's music. So now it's the music of the dope dealer and the gangbanger. We did ourselves in the music, and not we, because it had nothing to do with me. It was just the evolution of the genre. But it did people a disservice because it didn't speak for people no more. Like that, people look at the average person. If you're just a working person, you're a joke to the average, to the average young people. Like, and that's why the average young person, they don't respect the word of their parent, because their parent just work a regular job and is trying to raise him right, but they want to pop bottles and and do all that ghetto fabulous shit that you don't go nowhere with that. I mean, it's not wrong. It's nothing wrong with doing that, but in between doing that and before and after you do that, you're supposed to do some other shit that's relevant to society. That's not going to get done. And that's the problem that I have with hip hop. It embraces, it embraces things that have nothing to do with society. It's just like it's just like with black people. Hip hop has defined us by the lowest of us. Like if you ask somebody to act black, they're gonna do all that bullshit or it ain't no intelligence in that. And that's a person act. If you ask a person to act white, they're gonna talk normal. You see what I'm saying? You ask a person to act black, but see, the hip hop has defined us as all that hood shit, which I'm not. I come from the hood. I know how to run the street just as good as anybody else. But I'm not about that. I got shit to do. I got grandkids. I got 2 great grandkids. I got shit to do. I'm bigger than that. I'm better than that. I mean, we black people are better than that. But this is what we've allowed ourselves to be defined by. So you get what you got. Right.
So every time I get on a blog or something and I'm just looking and I'm searching or whatever, I always see a young rapper coming at the old school or coming at the rappers who, like the pioneers, like you guys, the legends who laid it down for them to do what they're doing. I always see them, kind of, and I wouldn't say everyone, but it seems as though every new school artist has kind of disrespected the older generation in a way, just by speaking and saying things that, like, nobody cares about that old school stuff. This is a new wave and all, just the new slang that we have now. But basically, a lot of the younger rappers have pretty much have said what they had to say about older rappers and the older generation of hip hop. What do you have to say about that? Being one of the legends who basically paved the way.
It's real simple. They can say what they want to say, but it's irrelevant because they ain't gonna last.
Right.
Simply because they don't respect what is supposed to be their own genre. They can't last. That's why, 50 Cent found ways to reinvent himself. But musically, he's been done. and then who took his spot was the fake drug dealer that was really a corrections officer.
Rick Ross.
And that's who took his spot.
Yep.
Nobody never necessarily took my spot. It's just at some point it just wasn't our time no more. But Melle is still Melle. So now you take a guy, Tekashi 6ix9ine or whoever. He's not. I can't see nothing like that lasting because it's easy. You see, when we did it, the bar was high.
Right.
When we did it, the bar was high. What they doing is the bar goes low. What's this next guy going to look like? If this dude got 3-color hair and he says he's a gangster, what is the next guy going to look like?
Right.
Because it just like when 50 Cent came out, and I was never a big fan of 50 Cent because I was never a big fan of gangster music. So now when 50 Cent came out, I was like, well, what is this next guy? If this guy is like that, what is the next guy going to be? And then you got Rick Ross, and Rick Ross is basically CB4. That's all fake.
Yep.
And not only is that fake, but the people that are supposed to be Rick Ross fans, they're fake because they know who Rick Ross is supposed to be.
Right.
But they respect that guy, and he broke the cardinal sin of rap. He took somebody's name. He took somebody's persona.
And he was also a correctional. Yeah, he was an officer.
Of course.
Yep.
So for me, I don't respect that, and I don't even respect it. And the main thing, not Rick, but Rick Ross, because he's out there making money. So I'm not going to knock nobody. I'm not going to knock nobody's hustle. Like they say, don't hate the player, hate the game. But for all these street guys that Google Gaga over Rick Ross, they fake. I don't. That's why I don't respect none of that hood shit. They all fake. They all act like it's the white man. It's not the white man. It's them, because they don't go nowhere, and they made it so that we don't go nowhere. So that's what I'm saying with the whole evolution of what's going on with these guys now. They those same guys won't be around 10 years from now to have an opinion, about what we about, because you could see it at right now that they burning themselves out. I mean, Bobby Shmurda was just the hot guy.
Yep.
Which is what all this shit is based about. And look what he did with his career.
Mhm.
Who remembers? Who's going to remember Bobby Shmurda? Nobody.
Yep.
Because he didn't see it. He didn't. It's just like I have conversations with people about hip hop all the time. Now, hip hop music aside, you could talk to me about any kind of music. We listen to it all. We respected it all. We understand it all. You ask these young dudes about hip hop, they and it ain't like I'm supposed to teach somebody about the history of hip hop when you supposed to be hip hop. Mumble rap. Okay, you got mumble rap, and then they try to pass that off as hip hop. I think it was what you said it was. It was just like gangster rap. It could be hip hop if you wanted to be hip hop, but it was what you said it was from the beginning. It was gangster rap. Now this is mumble rap. So now you would expect somebody that we set the bar high, and then we supposed to respect mumble rap. When in the definition of it is something that anybody from back in the day you could barely tolerate it. How you gonna respect it? When it's mumble rap? It's guys that can't rap. That's rapping. Why would a Melle or and some guys caving? Yeah, well was young and look, I got kids. I'm old school. I'm not interested in what my kids is doing if they ain't doing the right thing as far as from what I see. I'm not interested in all that. I'm not interested in listening. Even with you got to understand I've been watching my kids since they was born. If I don't understand them, nobody understands.
Right.
And the same thing that's wrong with hip hop is the same thing that's wrong with society. Why would you have to understand the kid when you was a kid yourself? And if you don't understand what you did and they doing the same thing that you did, why would you have to understand that?
Right.
You can't grow down. If you got to change your behavior to understand how to change the kid's behavior, you're doing something wrong, because you were supposed to get them to conform to the way that you behave, and that's when everything moves forward. Other than that, somebody's doing something wrong.
Yep.
You see what I'm saying? It's not for me to understand them. It was for them to understand us. Because we were the guys that brought you the game. You can't understand Big Daddy Kane. You can't understand Rakim. You see what I'm saying? You can't understand Cool G rap. It's almost a joke, and that's why and then you got older guys that would mumble rap is the new scat. No, it's not. It's mumble rap. If it was the new scat, they would have called it the new scat.
Yeah.
You ain't going to get an Ella Fitzgerald or Scatman Crothers out of any of these guys. They're not that talented. If they was, they would rap better. You see what I'm saying? It is what it is. If you can't rap, look, of the things that I can't do, I'll just say I can't do it. I'll keep it moving. If you can't rap, just say you can't rap, but don't compare yourself to guys that's clearly better. Clearly,
yeah.
not only then, but now. Like if you put
exactly.
Big Daddy Kane on stage with one of these guys now, it's going to be, it's going to be, it's going to be, it's apples and oranges. It's like you light years ahead.
Mm-hmm.
I got on the same stage with Panda when he was hot. I beat him to the ground because my mechanics is better. I got better records to do. He had a hot record, but it's no comparison. I'm just weak. The guys back then are just a lot better than the guys now.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, it's really nothing to compare, and they can compare themselves, but that's like Mayweather saying he's better than Sugar Ray Robinson. He couldn't be. It's impossible.
Right.
I mean, obviously the guy can box, but he wouldn't beat Sugar Ray Robinson. He wouldn't. It's two totally different classes of entertainers.
Yep.
And it don't compare. I mean, they could do that, but but that's why you ain't going to get too many of the greats coming out of this class of rappers, because they don't understand the mechanics of what it really takes to be a successful rapper. They just want to get money and show people they got money and talk crazy, and I don't know how long that's going to last. I mean, I'm old school. We sign autographs, we shake hands. We've been doing the same thing,
Mm-hmm.
We ain't never heard Melle or Curtis Blow or anybody back there getting arrested. I mean, Meek Mills, he'd be in the paper every day. I never heard of Meek Mill's record till the other day. And then when I finally heard the record, I was like, it's a fucking joke.
Right.
Because it's not even a good record. I mean, It's just based on how much a guy could get in trouble. Free Meek Mills, I mean, I mean, look, it's not for me to understand everything that's going on.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? But there's one thing I do know. It's hip-hop. And when we did it, you had to be good to do it. Now, there's so many different levels of what could make a successful hip-hop artist. Anybody could do it. When we did it, everybody couldn't do it.
Pretty much. I think when you look back at old school hip hop, it's just like the intelligence level of rappers was at an all-time high. Especially in our community, you had to have some kind of something to make it And now, just like you said, it's kind of like anybody can make a hit record.
Anybody from anything. The Cash Me Out girl, she makes records. I mean, it's almost disgusting.
Yeah.
It's almost disgusting of how, and the part that the disgusting part is not that they did it, because hip hop is that kind of blessing. It wasn't like everybody back in the day was a dope rapper. I mean, you had guys like Super Rhymes. It went the gambit, but you did have a lot of things out there that was progressive and that made sense, and that moved society forward.
Mm-hmm.
I don't see where society is going to be right now with the way these people are, and that and the baby mama, baby daddy era and all that. I don't see where a society, and especially the African American community, I don't see where we're going to be in the next 20 years, because it doesn't have no foundation. You can't. As far as what the culture of a community, you can't go back that far. I mean, nowadays you have mother's father, sister, brother, aunt, niece, nephew, cousin, even up to the grandmother and the grandfather, and don't nobody even have the same name.
Right.
That's disgusting. We can't move forward because nobody moves back. That's what culture is. You got to look back. Like with me, I'm hip hop. We could take the hip hop culture back to when there was no hip hop music, when we used everybody else's music. So to use their music, you had to understand their music. You had to at least listen to the music. You see what I'm saying? You got a whole genre of music that don't listen to nobody's music past the guy that used somebody else's music. Like if somebody listens to the message, they'll say, well, no, Ice Cube did the message, or whoever else did the message, or you know what I mean? They don't even know enough to know that Grandmaster Flash and the Furious 5 did the lesson. And,
Yep.
and it's not that they don't know. They just
The
don't
original.
want to know.
Yeah.
They just don't want to know. And that's the problem. Because if you don't want to know, I have no respect for you. If you
Right.
don't have no respect for talent, I'm not going to have respect for money.
Right.
Because it's the same thing. I never had money. You never had talent. So why should I respect you? You see what I'm saying? Why should I respect you? When talent dictates that it should be respected because it's talent. That's what you make money with, talent.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that's what it's supposed to be. So it is what it is.
Yep. Thank you so much. On that note, I'm definitely going to end the interview because that was awesome. But good luck on the performance, and I'm looking forward to seeing you guys rock the stage.
Yeah, everything's going to be great. I'll see you there.
Yep. Thank you.
All right. Thank you.
Yep.